Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about Kalen Ballage and that trade. But before we get started, I just wanted to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to check out the podcast. New episodes drop every Monday, so you can call in, leave me your questions, and I'll try to get to it on the show. Also, if you haven't checked it out yet, you might want to check out the Patreon. You can subscribe and get exclusive New York Jets content. This past week, I dropped an episode where I broke down the Jets drafts from the 21st century and how it shaped the Jets team in both a positive and negative light. There's a ton of fun stuff going on over there, so check it out. Link in the description below. And lastly, if you are interested, 20% off at manscaped.com. Use promo code JETS20. You can get yourself a nice lawnmower 3.0. I love using the product. To me, really the big thing is the skin safe technology. It allows for a comfortable shaving experience. And trust me, guys, when you're doing your manscaping, you definitely want to have a nice razor or a nice buzzer, and that's exactly what the Lawnmower 3.0 is. Definitely going to want to check that out. So let's get into the trade. The New York Jets are trading for a running back. They trade their 7th round pick, a conditional 7th round pick. He has to make the roster, of course, in order for them to trade that 7th rounder. And what I find interesting is that they actually moved a pick for a running back, which isn't exactly a position of need. So Kalen Ballage, who is he? He's with the Miami Dolphins. He was drafted in the 4th round of 2018. He's 24 years old at this point in his career, and he's a big running back. 6'2", 230. He ran a 4.46 40-yard dash in the combine a couple of years ago. At this point in his career, he had an okay rookie season, showed some promise in a small sample size, and a really bad sophomore year. So in his rookie year, he averaged 5.3 yards per carry on 36 touches. He had 1 touchdown. He obviously didn't get a ton of touches, so it's hard to say based off 36 carries that he's a 5-yard per carry running back. Last year, his touches doubled. He had 74 rushes, and he averaged 1.8 yards per carry. Under 2 yards per carry is atrocious. He was really bad. He had 3 touchdowns on the year, and Miami was going to release him, but the Jets decided to trade a conditional 7th round pick and bring him in. He's not much of a threat in the receiving game. He has just 119 yards over 2 years receiving and no touchdowns. He is a bulldozing kind of back. To me, this is a move to add depth, but I am scratching my head here today because you have Bilal Powell, who's been with the team for a decade plus at this point, or just about. He's been with the team since 2011. He's been with the team forever, sitting in free agency, who you didn't have to give up a pick in order to get. I understand I'm not going nuts over a conditional 7th round pick, but to me, I can't justify giving up any kind of assets for, at best case scenario, he's your 3rd running back on the roster. You know Le'Veon Bell is going to be the 1st running back. No, this doesn't mean the Jets are trading Le'Veon Bell. I saw some people were concerned online. He's not getting traded. If anything, Frank Gore will take some carries away from Le'Veon Bell, but for the most part, Bell is going to be RB1. Gore is going to be RB2. And RB3, I would have liked to see either Bilal Powell or LaMichael Pirine, but instead it looks like it's going to be Kalen Ballage, who, I don't know, man. I know he's 24 years old, so maybe there's a little bit of upside. I don't know if I would, again, I can't justify giving up a draft pick potentially for your 3rd running back on the roster when I think LaMichael Pirine should be able to do just fine in that role. I'd imagine that it's going to be mostly Le'Veon Bell and Frank Gore, but outside of that, then you're going to have LaMichael Pirine. And there's other running backs on the free agent market that even if you want to say, okay, they don't want to sign Bilal Powell, fine, but there's numerous other names on the free agent market that you could have signed and got relatively cheap instead of having to potentially trade a draft pick for someone. That's the thing. And again, I know a conditional 7th isn't a huge deal. It's just when you look at the roster, you would think that they would, if they were trading for anything, that would be a wide receiver. Granted, you're not going to get a stud wide receiver with the 7th round pick, an additional 7th round pick, but the Jets at this point would just take any depth that they could find. They are extremely banged up at the wide receiver position. And yes, there are guys on the free agent market that can be signed at that position as well. Just a little bit of a head scratcher today. I didn't particularly care for the move. Again, it's not going to make or break the Jets' year. I'm not going to yell and scream over this, but it just confused me a little bit. That's all. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of this trade. what you think of the player, and we'll go from there, man. It's been fun. I'm sorry for the delay. I know I haven't been around since the podcast on Monday. It's been insanely busy this week at the day job, so looking to get back into the videos now. And yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll talk to you next time.